dementia. Dementia seems like a hopeless disease, but I have some really good news to share with you. I've worked with dementia patients and their caregivers and learned so much from them. I've learned that the way the mind works is the same from person to person in this way. You can choose to think about things that make you worry or things that make you happy. A person with dementia seems to have less choice about this. The mechanism within the mind that chooses what to think about is malfunctioning to some degree, and they're left knowing something is wrong with them, but not sure what. Over time, this can be very upsetting, but there's really good news, so hear me out. 3 quick things. Dementia is a broad category which includes Alzheimer's. So if your loved one has this disease, this applies to you too. And by now you've heard the word Alzheimer's enough, so I'll be referring to it as dementia. But I also mean Alzheimer's. Also, if your loved one is a she, I'll be saying he for clarity so I don't have to keep saying he or she. He will have to do. Thirdly, what I'm saying now is not for sharing with your loved one. This is me introducing you to the program you need to make his life better. Back to what I want to share with you about how we can help your loved one. Dementia carries with it a wonderful opportunity. What could that be, you're wondering? Why? That's why I developed this program. So I could offer you that opportunity so you can pass it on to your loved one. I spent 2 years with a dear friend in his 90s who had dementia. As it progressed, he became more dependent on me to understand what was going on around him. And then he would promptly forget whatever I told him. It became impossible to reassure him for more than a few minutes. But fortunately, I never grew impatient because I understood that that was just another opportunity to hone my reassuring words. I recorded them so that you can play them back over and over for your loved one with dementia, so that he will be reassured. And you will get a break from repeating yourself. I understand your plight as a caregiver. I've worked 24-hour days. I've watched someone I love decline. I made these tapes for your relief and reassurance. You do a wonderful thing, hands-on helping. You have my love and respect. And you have the benefit of my deep connection with someone with dementia, which allowed me to experiment with my reassuring words and feel when they were resonating. Over and over, night and day, in all kinds of situations, I was able to find the right words and put them in order and reassure my dear friend. The first benefit I enjoyed was that I could tell the same jokes over and over, and he always laughed like it was brand new, because to him it was. Through my connection with my friend, I began to understand. The guy with the malfunctioning brain had something to teach me, something wonderful, his wonderful gift to the world, his enabling me to piece together an antidote for the pain caused by dementia, a devastating disease with no cure, and for now, at least, no treatment. But now we have an effective treatment. Let me explain that further, because people cannot see how there could be anything good about dementia. It's devastating, I know. But you want him to be spared this grueling path because you want him to be happy. You want him to be happy and reassured that he is loved. And as a caregiver, you want him to be occupied. Happily occupied, so you can have a moment to care for yourself. That's fair. You're worried too. You're worried about your loved one, but now you have a way to worry less. If what you want is your loved one's happiness, and you do, I can help you. That is what you want, his happiness, moment to moment. If you can't have a cure for dementia, you can be satisfied with the best alternative. That's a pretty good consolation prize, is it not? Yes, it is, my friend. And I am so thrilled to be able to offer it to you. When you're ready, just click on the playlist, and the group of videos will play one after another for as long as you like. As you hear my happy chatter in the background, your loved one will grow accustomed to my voice and find it reassuring. He'll know he's about to share a happy thought with me, something that helps him settle into the situation by focusing his thoughts on happy things. The sound of my voice will become his blankie, his binky, his teddy bear, and the journey, however daunting, will be less of an ordeal because we'll keep him calm and happy. It's not a cure, but it takes the sting and the sadness away for a little while. Of course you love him, so of course you want to make the decision to do what you can to let him be as happy as you can. You want my advice? Do whatever works. That was my guiding principle as I guided my loved one along the path. I reassured him day and night that no matter how much he seemed to have lost in the way of independence and ability to communicate, I knew he was still in there, still himself, and your loved one is the same. No matter how faded he may seem to be, and you still have a loving gift to give him, you still can give him happiness. And what better gift is there to give? Happiness. I'm offering it to you so you can offer it to him. That's what this program I developed can do. It can make him feel happy and reassured moment to moment for as long as he is suffering. When the suffering is over, as it will be someday, you'll have the consolation of knowing you did something that lifted his spirits in his time of need. He needed your help and he got it. That, my friend, is love in action. Make the choice for love. My part will be the playlist, and your part will be to reinforce my efforts with efforts of your own, which will lead you to a much easier time in dealing with his dementia. First, let me say that the things we're sharing now don't need to be shared with your loved one. One of them is our strategy for getting him to his happy place. We'll guide him there with what I call emotional guidance. The hidden benefit of memory loss is that it removes resistance to emotional guidance. Anyone who has worked with a patient with memory loss would naturally want to help him improve his mood. It's surprisingly easy because the patient is looking to others to find out how he should be reacting to the present situation. He is looking for emotional guidance already. Very common questions from a dementia patient are there any visitors expected today? And what should I be doing? And what time is it? These questions reveal the emotional condition of the patient. Are there any visitors expected? The question is generated by the patient's feeling that he is somehow unready to entertain visitors. He is aware of the difficulties his lack of a functional short-term memory pose, and is insecure about how that appears to others. Another question, what should I be doing? This touches on his feeling that he's not being useful, as he probably was in the past. Dementia is an affliction of the short-term memory at first. The long-term memory is left intact until the final stages. He can remember being independent and productive. Now he is aware that he is no longer. He wants to compensate by doing something. The third question, very common with dementia patients, what time is it? It makes little difference what time it is to the patient because he's retired, has no important schedule, and can no longer do what he was once capable of. But habit leads him to ask this question over and over. The emotion most often felt by dementia sufferers is insecurity. Over time, continued feelings of insecurity erode self-esteem. In addition, our society regards wrinkles, gray hair, wheelchairs, walkers, hospital beds, bedpans, depends, and similar items as symbols of weakness, feebleness, inadequacy, and old age. It doesn't help that in his younger days, the patient has probably followed society's directive and sees these symbols in the same negative light, and the people who must depend on these items with pity or revulsion. When it dawns on them that they are now in a position where they must depend on these items, they judge themselves. As they judge themselves to be unworthy, their self-esteem erodes. Little by little, the situation gets worse, maybe because of the way they perceive themselves, or maybe because of the dementia's effect on the brain. It seems to be a 1-2 punch. we can block the first punch by guiding the emotions of your loved one. Emotional guidance deals with these memory loss problems by guiding the patient again and again to challenge false ideas and flawed judgments in a cheerful way. The general level of emotional vibration is raised, a better mood is induced, a better outlook replaces the negative group of thoughts. Repetition is employed, and over time the habit of happiness can stick with the patient. But relief is seen immediately in the moment that the caregiver delivers emotional guidance to the patient. The consistency we bring to the thought life of your loved one will eventually bring noticeable results. We're moving him from sad to happy. Is there a higher calling or a task more worthy given you right now? Appreciate that you have an answer. You can relieve the pain of this disease. You are a powerful healer with this tool of emotional guidance. Put it to good use. So click on the playlist, try it out. Please share these videos with anyone you think they could help. And leave comments in the comments section that will help others bear the burden you're bearing with courage in the face of this frightening disease. It won't seem so frightening if we all face it together, and will be so much better when you see your loved one distracted by the good thoughts in the playlist that can trigger and sustain his happiness.